Thus the heat is on, the viewings are accelerating, the information flows, and in several months, when the review is finished, when the articles are authored, when the media briefings are convened, we will get the decision. Comet, assuredly a comet. Strange, true, unheard of in some respects, yet natural. Matter concluded. Or, comet, likely, probably almost natural. Some irregularities persist unclarified, but this is standard in research. We require more information, which we shall not obtain. The enigma continues. Or, we are unsure, the information fails to match the frameworks. Something is happening which we cannot comprehend. It could be natural. It could not. We are unable to state for sure, and today it is past time to examine more. 3 conclusions, 3 options, and we are just about to learn which one is true. Except, a 4th conclusion exists, one no one is discussing openly, one which exists in quiet discussions and speculative we-our ideas. What if 3A Atlas realizes we are observing? What if it was inert, drifting, faking being a comet, and perihelion is the time it performs whatever it arrived here to perform? What if the schedule is not chance? What if we are soon to observe an event that will alter all things we believe we understand regarding our location in the cosmos? That is fantasy storytelling. That is allowing fancy to go free. That is not how we ought to treat this. But what if? Let us pull back for 1 second. Let us see the larger context. Because 3I Atlas is not occurring alone. It is a piece of a design, and designs tell tales. 2017, Oumuamua, the initial verified extrasolar body. Elongated, spinning, speeding up with no apparent reason. It resisted simple classification. Was it a comet, a space rock, another thing? We never received a final solution, as it had left before we could truly probe it. But it opened our awareness to a fact we had guessed, but never proven. Bodies from different solar neighborhoods travel through ours often. 2019, Borisov, the subsequent extrasolar guest. This body was comforting. It appeared like a comet. It behaved like a comet. Analysis revealed H2O, carbon monoxide, the normal components. Its makeup was distinct from our nearby comets. True, but logically distinct. It originated from a different neighborhood. Truly. Borisov showed us that not every extrasolar guest is strange. Some are just what we anticipate. 2025, 3I Atlas, the 3rd guest, and abruptly we have returned to strangeness. Radical makeup, implausible H2O output, old beyond reckoning, vigorous, beyond logic, all the inquiries Oumuamua posed, yet with superior information, all the uncertainty, yet with increased time to probe. 3 bodies, 3 entirely dissimilar descriptions. What does this show us? It shows us the cosmos is varied, immensely, astonishingly varied. Each solar neighborhood has its unique narrative, its unique origin story, its unique chemical setting, its unique mechanisms for forming and expelling substance. And these distinctions are deep. Yet there exists another thing, a numerical probability that many humans do not consider. We have found 3 extrasolar travelers in 8 years. 3. This appears infrequent. This appears like a very rare happening. Yet here is the fact. We just discover the items that venture nearby, the items that travel inside several astronomical units of our star, where they are luminous enough to see, where their paths are clearly unbound, where we possess an opportunity of detecting them. The great bulk travels by unseen, too distant, too dim, journeying across the external solar neighborhood where our searches cannot extend. Stargazers approximate that, at any specific moment, there are likely multiple extrasolar bodies inside the path of Neptune. We simply do not notice them. And if we broaden this out, if we account for bodies traveling across the larger solar neighborhood, the counts become overwhelming, possibly thousands each year, perhaps tens of thousands. The cosmos is filled with this material, fragments of ice, stone, rubble from neighborhoods that arose, or neighborhoods that arose and were annihilated. All of this moving through the void, sometimes intersecting routes with suns like ours. We exist in a universal target range, and we are just now beginning to grasp it. That background is important when we consider 3I Atlas, since if extrasolar guests are frequent, if many thousands of them are traveling by unobserved, then the chances of any single one being synthetic fall substantially. You would require a cosmos overflowing with technologically advanced cultures, all dispatching out sensors for synthetic bodies to comprise a noteworthy portion of the whole. And we possess 0 proof of this. 0 broadcast emissions, 0 giant constructions, no clear indications of cosmic construction. The Fermi question remains. Where is everyone? If sentient existence is widespread, where are the relics? Where are the vestiges? Perhaps they are concealed. Perhaps they are defunct. Perhaps we are searching in faulty methods. Or perhaps they are scarce. Perhaps awareness is an anomaly. Perhaps we are amid the earliest, or the soul. Yet if this is correct, if synthetic extrasolar sensors are scarce or absent, then 3i Atlas is nearly assuredly normal. Merely one more piece of ice, no matter how strange it appears. Nearly assuredly, this term counts. Nearly. Since there exists one more probabilistic factor. If you are a developed culture wishing to survey, you avoid dispatching sensors to arbitrary suns. You aim for compelling ones, environments with worlds, environments with capacity for existence, environments deserving examination. Our home environment is compelling. 8 worlds, a livable region holding a planet with fluid H2O, and a life sphere, intricate makeup, dynamic geology. It is precisely the sort of environment you would wish to probe if you were searching for existence. And we are not concealed. Our star has existed here for 4.5 billion revolutions. Existence has been on our world for much of that duration. O2 has existed in our air for above 2 billion rotations. Every culture with capable observatories might find the oxygen marker from many hundreds of light years distant. They would understand this is a life sphere. They would understand it deserves examination. Thus, if sensors are real, if anybody has dispatched robotic surveyors into the cosmos, our home environment must be on the objective list, not assuredly at the apex, but someplace on the roster. This does not imply 3i Atlas is a sensor. It only suggests the chance is not as ridiculous as it may appear on initial view. Background counts, probabilities count, and there exists one further item of background that counts, our personal schemes. We are creating extrasolar voyages. Presently, this day. Breakthrough Starshot is crafting ideas for small sensors propelled by photon beams, attaining a portion of light velocity, journeying to close suns inside a person's lifespan. NASA has examined ideas for bigger, less rapid voyages, atomic blast propulsion, merging engines, epoch vessels. We are contemplating dispatching an object toward Alpha Centauri, toward Proxima Centauri, toward whichever destinations seem compelling. And as we plan these voyages, we consider durability, we consider independence, we consider constructing a thing that endures the trip, finishes the objective, and sends back information over light years of range. If we are considering this, some may have achieved it. Some may be achieving it this instant. Some may have achieved it 1 billion years past. And their sensors remain out there, still working, still surveying. This is not guesswork. This is projection. If we can conceive it, if we are striving for it, it is not illogical to presume others could attain it. Yet a chasm exists separating, could be out there, and is present today. A huge chasm, and bridging over that chasm demands proof. Firm, indisputable proof. Possess we this for 3i Atlas? No. We possess irregularities. We possess unclarified information. We possess riddles. Yet we lack any proof. We lack a definitive sign. And perhaps we never shall. Perhaps the essence of the circumstance is so that proof is unachievable. If a sensor is engineered to seem normal, how could one confirm it is not? You cannot. You just can gather up accidents and irregularities until their mass gets disquieting, until the normal theories begin to seem contrived, until you are faced with a decision between embracing a very improbable normal situation or pondering an even more improbable synthetic one. This is where 3i Atlas could abandon us, in that disquieting realm where both theories appear false, yet one of them must be correct. The academic establishment will revert to normal. This is the right method. Amazing assertions demand amazing proof. Without that proof, the base assumption remains. It is a comet. Finish of tale. Yet certain academics shall continue questioning. They will save the information. They will continue probing, and if upcoming viewings show a new thing, a thing that alters the view, they will be prepared. Since here is the last item of background, we are improving at this. Each year, our observatories enhance. Our search capacities grow. Our power to find and classify extrasolar guests rises. The Vera Rubin Observatory begins full operations shortly, and it shall transform celestial searches. It shall spot bodies we are presently overlooking. It shall locate extrasolar guests sooner, allowing us increased duration to probe them. The next Oumuamua will not evade us. The next 3i Atlas shall be monitored from the instant it arrives in the solar system until it departs. We shall possess total information, total monitoring, total comprehension. and should any of those subsequent guests indeed display clear indications of being synthetic, we will know. There shall be zero space for uncertainty, but currently, for 3i Atlas, we are using what is available: partial information, constrained viewing opportunities, uncertainty, and an increasing feeling that we are observing something momentous, something which will be recalled. If it is the strangest comet ever seen, or something else, this is an event, a pivotal moment, the time when humankind ceased being startled by travelers from different stars and began examining them commonly. We are shifting from finding to comprehending, from astonishment to investigation, from "what is this?" to "what does it reveal?" That is advancement. That is evolution. That is us developing as a society, thinking on cosmic proportions. 3i Atlas is one piece of this narrative, an odd, baffling, compelling piece, and regardless of what it is instructing us about comets, about solar environments, about variety, about the cosmos, and perhaps, just perhaps, about us, about our station in the universe, about what it implies to gaze up at the heavens and comprehend we are not viewing a remote, barren expanse. We are viewing a vicinity, a bustling, peopled, active vicinity, where items travel and mingle and sometimes intersect routes. We are not solitary in the meaning of being separate. We are an element of a cosmic network. Substance moves between suns, bodies journey between neighborhoods, elements blend. The cosmos is intertwined in manners we are just starting to grasp. 3i Atlas is a single strand in that immense tapestry, one traveler in a perpetual flow, one emissary from the distant past, transporting knowledge through the void and ages, and for one short time. It is ours to examine, ours to ponder on, ours to attempt to grasp. The time is still passing. Perihelion nears. The solutions are arriving. So what is our situation? Right now. October 2025. 3i Atlas is growing brighter while it nears the star. The viewing programs are accelerating. Information is arriving quicker than academics can process it, and we are all anticipating perihelion. Late December, that is the instant of reckoning, as 3i Atlas nears its closest point to our star, as solar warmth achieves its highest level, as all substances buried inside that old core shall react with the greatest force. Should this body be concealing anything, anything which only shows itself amid peak brightness, then we shall spot it. Each predictive framework, each simulation, each conceptual model is aimed directly at that moment. Academics possess their theories prepared, normal clarifications arranged, alternate possibilities readied. They understand what they are seeking. They understand which information to gather. They understand which metrics shall be crucial. Yet there is ever the potential for shock, ever the likelihood that the cosmos, or a different factor, possesses one final twist to reveal. The photography effort shall be strenuous. Hubble is going to observe non-stop throughout the vital window. Its keen visual clarity will record the core with the best precision we can manage from this range. All imbalance, all surprising characteristics, all variance from the anticipated form, it is going to be logged, saved, accessible for review and future study for eras to follow. JWST is going to operate its entire analysis package, infrared frequencies from close to mid bands, all chemical markers apparent in that section of the graph. The aim is a total elemental catalog, not simply H2O and CO2, but all else: methane, ammonia, carbon monoxide, complex organics, whatever is being vented, and more crucially, the proportions, the comparative amounts, the designs that show origin circumstances. If the theories are correct, the spectral information will indicate greater H2O and CO2 output as solar heat strengthens. The proportion ought to remain fairly stable, or alter in foreseeable manners, according to their varied vaporization graphs. The complex compounds ought to rise accordingly. All things should grow in unison. If the theories are incorrect, we will spot anomalies, surprising compounds materializing, proportions altering in fashions that fail to fit basic warmth markers, markers that imply processes more intricate than simple ice vaporization. And if a thing is truly irregular, truly inexplicable, the information shall record it. Nothing stays hidden at perihelion. Our star exposes all. Surface-based telescopes shall offer constant surveillance. And what orbital observatories miss in temporal scope, Earth-based facilities can deliver. Several installations positioned across longitudes, guaranteeing 24-hour viewing. If any fleeting event occurs, if a spontaneous eruption of energy or an abrupt transformation happens, it shall be captured. The Mars probes shall undertake their follow-up try. Superior scheduling this round, superior alignment. The pictures will not be astounding, We are not expecting to view surface textures or small features, yet we may discern the core's form more distinctly. We may spot if it is stretched, round, uneven. That itself would be useful. And radio waves. A potential for radar viewing exists. Goldstone within California. The Green Bank facility. They are not as potent as Arecibo was. However, they could have an opportunity. Radio waves can pierce the coma, look past the vapor and particles, obtain a direct assessment of the core, dimensions, spin, perhaps even basic form details. If radio waves work, it will be massive. It shall provide us factual baseline information. No longer guessing from luminosity and presumptions, we would learn the dimensions. We would learn the spin speed exactly. We would learn if there are big formations on the exterior, yet radio waves are challenging. The body is distant, it is somewhat tiny, the reflected signal shall be faint. It may not succeed, yet they will attempt. All this viewing, all this information, is moving toward a complete image, the fullest description of an extrasolar guest ever attained. Oumuamua fled before we might truly probe it. Borisov was more thoroughly recorded, yet it was hasty. We needed to rush to see it ere it dimmed. 3i Atlas is distinct. We possess time. We possessed readiness. We possess teamwork. This is how it appears when the worldwide stargazing establishment collaborates toward a shared objective. This is humankind at its finest, inquisitive, systematic, resolved to comprehend. And following perihelion, following the viewing opportunity shuts, the true labor starts. Information processing, simulation, article creation, gatherings, discussions. The viewings require weeks. The comprehension requires years. Articles shall be released during 2026 and after, each centered on varied facets: makeup, energy, path, complex compounds, particle traits, cloud mechanics. All research teams shall provide their part of the mystery. And finally, an agreement shall arise. Perhaps not swiftly, perhaps not neatly, yet over duration, the academic establishment shall agree on a clarification. This is the nature of 3i Atlas. This is the place it originated. This is the reason it acts the way it performs. That clarification will probably be normal, a comet, strange, true, radical in certain characteristics, yet finally understandable inside current science and composition. The irregularities shall be resolved, or at minimum grasped sufficiently to be acceptable with. Yet there exists a chance, however minor, that the agreement shall be dissimilar, that the information fails inspection, that the irregularities fail to mend, that we shall remain with a thing unexplainable. And should this occur, should we arrive at this probe's conclusion, and we yet fail to grasp what 3i Atlas is, then the discussion alters. Then we must earnestly review options, not as uncontrolled conjecture, but as authentic scientific theories deserving examination. This could feel disquieting, this might test us, yet it might also be thrilling. It could imply the cosmos is weirder than we imagined, that some events exist we have not explained, that our comprehension is lacking. Research flourishes on partial knowledge. This is what fuels advancement. The problems we cannot solve presently emerge as the discoveries of the future. Thus, regardless of what 3i Atlas is, we benefit. If it is normal, we find out about cometary variety and solar neighborhood creation. If it is a different thing, we find out the boundaries of our present awareness and where to probe further. In any case, we are improved from having met it, from having seen it, from having attempted to grasp it. And this is a thing to consider. Presently, there are likely many schools of different extrasolar travelers transiting through our home system. We simply do not notice them. They are too distant, too dim, too tiny. Yet they exist, transporting their personal narratives, their personal makeup, their personal mysteries. In several years, when the Vera Rubin telescope is completely functional, we will begin finding them. Not only the luminous ones that travel nearby, but the dim ones, the faraway ones, the tiny ones. We shall be locating extrasolar bodies frequently, perhaps monthly, finally, weekly, and everyone shall instruct us somehow. Everyone shall be a specimen from a dissimilar solar neighborhood, a dissimilar world creation setting, a dissimilar universal past. We are starting a time when extrasolar guests cease being amazing and commence being common. When we compile a listing, an archive, a numerical collection, big enough to make significant inferences regarding the cosmos in its entirety. 3i Atlas is a piece of this change. It is one of the earliest, one of the trailblazers, and it is instructing us not only on itself, but on how to probe bodies similar to it, which viewings to perform, which information to gather, which inquiries to pose, Coming researchers shall reflect on this instant and perceive the start of extrasolar comparative world study, the time when we ceased being restricted to our home solar neighborhood and began probing the cosmos firsthand. This is deep. This is momentous. This merits acknowledgement, even prior to us knowing all the solutions. Thus, while we observe 3i Atlas near perihelion, while we await the information, while we ready for any disclosures December provides, recall this. You are observing something scarce, not simply the body alone, but the instant when humankind gazed upward, noticed a guest from a different sun, and possessed the means and wisdom to probe it correctly. Our progenitors viewed comets and dreaded them, believed they were signs, harbingers of calamity. We observe comets and we quantify them. We probe their composition. We compute their paths. We gather data. That transition from dread to comprehension is what societal progress is truly about. And 3i Atlas represents the newest installment in that continuous narrative. It is out there presently, traveling through the void at 210,000 kilometers per hour. Old, enigmatic, bearing the imprint of a solar neighborhood we will not reach, and for a short, valuable span of time, it is near enough for us to note. In several months, it vanishes, receding back to the blackness, proceeding on its travel across the cosmos, and we shall remain without information, our findings, our analyses, and the awareness that we tried our utmost, we watched, we gauged, we sought to comprehend, and perhaps, just perhaps, we have discovered something regarding what is out there, regarding what is feasible, regarding what the cosmos has been undertaking for eons of time while we were not observing. The subsequent extrasolar guest is already traveling here. Somewhere within the black, another old traveler is nearing, a different body, with a different tale, and upon its arrival, we will be prepared. We will be observing, we will be discovering. Since that is our action now, we probe the cosmos, one guest at a time. We assemble the universal riddle, we broaden our comprehension, one odd, amazing, baffling body at a time. 3i Atlas is one fragment of that riddle, a large fragment, a vital fragment, and whatever it discloses, it is moving us nearer to grasping the cosmos we inhabit. The time is passing, perihelion nears, the instant of reckoning draws close, and someplace far in the emptiness, 3i Atlas proceeds on its old voyage, oblivious or indifferent that for this short instant it holds our full focus, that observatories over Earth and in orbit are aimed at it, that many thousands of researchers are probing its every light particle, that humankind is observing, pondering, and awaiting solutions. Regardless of what those solutions happen to be, the quest to seek them has been valuable. This is the true finding, not 3i Atlas's nature, but rather what we have evolved into, a race able to analyze guests from distant solar systems, a culture extending past our local, galactic vicinity, intellects that can observe a 10 billion-year-old object and query not simply its identity, but rather, what knowledge can it impart? Soon, 2026. Then we will learn. Note the date, see the reports, read the academic journals, since no matter the outcome, it will be important. In some fashion, 3i Atlas is poised to reveal information that we have not previously possessed, regarding comets, regarding solar neighborhoods, regarding the cosmos, regarding existence, or perhaps, just perhaps, regarding us. The answer is arriving, and we are poised for it, regardless its nature.